Should British tourists be charged more to visit tourist attractions in EU countries? 0207 862 2222 is the number. French President Emmanuel Macron has confirmed that Brits and other visitors from outside of the EU will be charged more to visit the Louvre in Paris. Now, the extra cash will contribute towards vital repairs and renovations to the home of the Mona Lisa, costing the equivalent of up to £670 million. Now, Macron said that it was likely to be applied to other national museums too in France. And his culture minister previously suggested charging non-EU residents a premium fee to visit Notre Dame Cathedral too. Now, is it only right that we pay more to see EU landmarks after Brexit? We have here actually the Mona Lisa, so we can really look at what we're talking about here. This is the real one. Especially when you see what I'm about to do to it. Now, to get in to see the Louvre now, you are charged €22, that's about £18.45. What has been previously reported is that non-EU tourists could now have to pay between €25 and €30, so that's about just over £20 to £25 to gain entry, significantly more than EU residents going in to see the same thing. So I'll pop that up there just so you can see this is what we're currently charged, this is what we could be charged. How do you feel about that, Carole?
One of the last acts of spite and silliness from a president that is finished, who has always hated this country for leaving the EU. It really is petty and spiteful and silly. What he's trying to do now, because he's just had the lowest popularity rating, the second lowest popularity rating in French history. The French people hate him. Only 20% think he's doing a half-decent job, and that's only half-decent. So what he's trying to do, he's actually said to the French people, you will not pay a centime of the 700 million quid that's going to cost to sort out the Louvre. We will get others to pay it. So let's get non-EU people to pay it. If he thinks that's going to get him back in the good books of the French people, he's very much mistaken. He's finished. He's gone. However, you know, what I think we should do in this country then, because most of our museums are free, the V&A, what's free, that's the British Museum is free, Tate Modern, all of it free. You sometimes pay for special exhibitions, but generally it's free. We should charge all EU residents double. Let's just charge them a massive, let's charge them
double. Nothing is nothing.
Let's charge them 30 quid. Let's charge them 30 quid. But what if we did that? It would be stupid because we'd kill our tourist trade. That's a stupid thing to do. And it's a stupid thing for Macron to do, but it's nothing less than I expected.
Do you think it is? Do you think it's spiteful?
No, I don't think it's spiteful. In Stratford, Shakespeare, our great Shakespeare's hometown, they used to charge more money for people who weren't residents of Stratford. I don't know if they still do that, but when I was a kid, I used to go there, that was the case. When I lived in the Middle East, if you were a Gulf citizen, I was a Gulf citizen, I had residency over there, we were charged less for the Abu Dhabi Louvre than tourists who are coming in who were not from the Gulf states. Lots of places do it. He's not saying this would just be for British people either. If you're North American, if you're South American, if you're from Asia, Australia, you would also be paying more. It's not just a case of Macron.
That was the bit that I wanted to pick up with Carole. You said it was spiteful and that he hated this country.
You do.
You see it as a personal attack when it's not just Britain.
Well, but it's mostly Britain.
Where are you getting most of that?
He hates America as well. But it is a stupid thing because what you're doing, because the people who are going to the Louvre, tourists, they're spending lots of money on their way there. They're going into shops, keeping all the businesses alive. And what are you going to do? They're just going to swerve the Louvre from now on. They're not going to go. They look at something like that and say, that's enough. I've seen it. I know what it looks like.
I've been to Louvre to see the Mona Lisa, and it was tiny, and you couldn't even get near it. It was so far away.
And was it any better than that?
No, this is much better.
Exactly.
And I was aggrieved at having to pay €20, whatever it was, when I went to see it myself. But if they're saying it's €20 for the Europeans and €22 for non-Europeans, €2 difference, I think most people are going to be like, OK, yeah, fine. If you're travelling to France to see stuff, you're going to pay two difference.
It's the difference between $18.50
it could be the double
and 25 quid.
But it could be as little as the difference between €3.
Well, for Brits, it'll be 25 quid, you can guarantee.
Rita from Merseyside, have you ever been to the Louvre, Rita, to see the Mona Lisa?
No, I haven't. I would love to, but quite frankly, I couldn't afford to go. But it's a beautiful place, the cathedrals and everything, in the Louvre. But I think we're already paying France too much anyway.
Exactly.
What is this for? Are you going into the border control here?
Pardon?
Are you going into how much we pay them to try and protect the border?
Well, amongst other things, yeah. You know,
Rita's right. Did you read that story the other day about how the French, they put cameras, with the money we pay them, they put cameras to take pictures of the boats and the traffic guys, and they forgot to turn them on. They only turned them on the other day. They've been off for years. So, yeah, we should not be paying, Rita. You're quite right on that.
But Rita, I mean, the way you're talking is like we're not the only country. Every country outside of the EU will have to pay the extra money. It's not just Britain. So do you think they should make an exception of Britain because we're so close to them, perhaps?
Well, we're so silly, you know. We're so gullible, and we just sort of bow to everything they do, you know. And what good are they doing? They're, you know, they're not popular. And Carole is brilliant. She's the only one with a down-to-earth approach. She's fabulous.
Do you know, Rita, you know
I wish
what?
I could speak like her.
Oh, sweetheart, you can. You're doing very well. Listen, I mean, we can all live without seeing the Mona Lisa in the flesh, can't we?
Exactly.
I'd rather go for a nice dinner on the Champs-Elysees.
It may not just stop there is the problem, is the bigger picture here. It could start with the Mona Lisa, it could start with the Louvre, and then it could go to all sorts of tourist attractions across the EU that non-EU countries will have to just pay that little bit more. But then if we look at our own country, we're introducing tourist tax in different cities and things. And so are we just as bad? Rita, thank you very much for your call. Nellie from Inverness, what's your thoughts on this?
Yes, hello panel. Yes, I absolutely think that we shouldn't have to because, well, going back, in the 2016 EU referendum, Scotland, 66% of Scottish people voted against Brexit. It was mainly London that wanted Brexit.
I see where you're going
from
for this. So do you think when we go over to Paris, on the basis of our accent alone, we should just get free entry to the Louvre because we kind of wanted to stay in?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. If there's a tourist tax, fine. You know, if there's a tourist tax, there's a tourist tax.
Well, there
but I don't see why we should have to pay extra just because we're outside of the EU. You know, we've got tourist tax all over the UK. You know, Scotland, England. You know, all four parts. And if someone from Spain came, you know, Spain's part of the EU, they get charged a tourist tax, fine. No, someone from...
No, they don't. Sorry, I just have to clarify that, Nellie. They absolutely don't. But there are certain cities in the country that have implemented a tourist tax. But, you know, that would mean that you coming from Inverness to Manchester, for example, you're going to have to pay a tourist tax. But you seem to be making a distinction between tourist tax and an additional payment for getting into an attraction, because you're fine that Paris has a tourist tax, but you're not okay with the fact that they have decided, France has decided that any visitors to the Louvre from outside of the EU, so not just Britain, anybody outside of the EU, will have to pay an additional €6.
Yes, yes, because, you know, if, like I said a minute ago, you know, if someone from Spain comes to, say London, right? They'll have to pay a tourist tax. Fine. If someone from the States comes from, they pay a tourist tax. But it's exactly the same. The United States is not part of the European Union, but Spain, France, Germany, as well as many other countries are.
I'm really sorry. I think I'm missing your point, but you seem to think there's a tourist tax in this country for people coming from Spain or America, and there simply isn't. But thank you for your call all the same.